Have you ever moved into a new place that seemed off? Like something was watching you, even when you were alone?
This happened when I was 7. My dad got a promotion, so we had to move to a new place closer to his office. I was excited because the new house had a huge backyard where my dog, Buddy, and I could play. After we got there, we checked out the whole house. While my parents were busy unpacking, Buddy and I headed straight to the backyard to play. We were running around, having a blast, when suddenly I heard a noise like something had fallen on the wooden floor. That's when I noticed a shed at the corner of our property. Curious, I walked over, thinking it might be a raccoon or something. As I opened the shed door, I saw a man in dirty clothes with a huge beard staring right at me. Terrified, I screamed and bolted back to the house, with Buddy barking like crazy behind me. My parents came running toward the backyard when they heard me scream. I told my dad what had happened, and he rushed Buddy and me inside, slamming the door behind us and calling 911. The police arrived shortly after, searching our property but finding nothing. That night, I tried to sleep, but the image of that bearded man kept replaying in my mind. I don't know when I dozed off, but I was woken up by Buddy barking loudly. I tried to calm him down, but then I heard a strange noise echoing in my bedroom. I turned on my bedside lamp and saw Buddy barking at my bedroom window, which was the source of that weird noise. Scared and confused, I walked toward the window. Gathering my courage, I cautiously peeked through the curtain and saw the man from earlier standing in our backyard, throwing pebbles at my window. A shiver ran down my spine as I spotted him. I ducked down in fear, crawled out of the window's sight, and headed toward my parents' room. My dad rushed to my room and looked out the window, but the backyard was completely empty and there was no sign of that guy. He sat me down, comforting me as I tried to sleep again. The next few days went by pretty normally, with no sign of the man, but we were still extra cautious around the backyard. One day, we were at my dad's workplace for a family event and dinner, so we got home late, around 9 or 10 p.m. Exhausted, I went straight to bed. I fell asleep quickly, but I was abruptly awakened by the sensation of my bed shaking and Buddy barking furiously. For a moment, I thought there was an earthquake. I got up and turned on the light, still half asleep, and scanned my room. Buddy was on the other side of the bed. I walked up to him and noticed that he was staring beneath my bed, barking and growling ferociously. I crouched down to pick him up, and that's when I saw a hand sticking out from underneath my bed. Scared out of my mind, I grabbed Buddy and ran to my parents' room. I burst in, shouting, "There's someone in my room, hiding under my bed." My dad quickly got up, grabbed a vase, and rushed to my room while my mom called 911. My heart raced as my father swung open the door and we caught sight of the man jumping out of the window. The moonlight illuminated his face, and I screamed, "That's the guy from the shed." My dad threw the vase at him, missing but shattering the window in the process. We heard a loud thud followed by a scream. We approached the window carefully and saw the man limping away, trying to escape. We locked ourselves in my parents' room, waiting for the police to arrive. The sound of my mom's panicked voice on the phone and Buddy's relentless barking filled the room, and every passing minute felt like an hour. Finally, we heard the police siren grow louder as 4 police cars arrived. My dad, with his voice shaking, briefed them on what happened and gave a description of the man. 2 officers stayed with us, their presence offering little comfort, while the others searched the neighborhood. Every creak and rustle outside sent waves of fear through me. After what felt like a lifetime, they returned, informing us they found the man hiding behind some bushes a couple of houses down. Relief washed over us as we heard the news. It's been 20 years since that incident, but the memories still scare me sometimes. I've moved out from my parents' house, but I still wonder, how long had he been hiding inside our home? What were his intentions? And what if I hadn't managed to escape from my room that night?
I was 22 and excited to start a new chapter in my life. I moved into an old, rundown apartment building with creaky wooden floors and antique fixtures, because it was the best I could afford at the moment. As soon as I opened the door, I felt a gust of cold air brush past me, despite the warm summer. Ignoring it, I walked inside, set up my Bluetooth speaker, and started playing music while unpacking my stuff. After some time, the speaker started to make a strange static noise. As I walked closer to inspect it, out of nowhere, I felt a strange presence, as if someone was standing in the corner of my room, watching me. I spun around, my heart racing, but there was no one there. The music started playing again, and I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination. Brushing off the unease, I continued unpacking. But later that night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps and the floor creaking. Slow, deliberate footsteps echoed through the hallway. I froze, my heart pounding. Was someone in the apartment? The footsteps stopped right outside my bedroom door. Holding my breath, I listened intently, the silence more terrifying than the noise. I could feel a presence on the other side of the door, just standing there. The next few nights were quiet, but the feeling of being watched never left. One evening, I was cooking dinner when I heard a faint whisper. It was so soft, I couldn't make out the words, but it sent shivers down my spine. I looked around, expecting to see someone, but I was alone. Or so I thought. About a week later, I was watching TV when I saw a shadowy figure reflected on the screen. I turned quickly, but there was no one there. My heart raced as I realized the figure had been standing right behind me. I tried to convince myself it was a trick of the light, but deep down, I knew something was very wrong. One afternoon, I stumbled upon a dusty journal hidden in the back of a closet. It belonged to the previous tenant, a girl named Ava. As I flipped through its pages, I found detailed accounts of the strange events she had experienced while living here, feelings of being watched, eerie whispers in the night, and sightings of a shadowy figure. My unease grew as I read her final entry, where she wrote, "I can't remain here any longer. I fear what will happen if I do." That night, I barely slept. Around 3 a.m., I heard the footsteps outside my bedroom door again, but this time accompanied by a weird whispering noise. My bedroom door creaked open, and a cold breeze swept through the room. I felt a strange presence, as if I was not alone anymore. Terrified, I hid under my blanket, praying for it to stop. I could hear footsteps approaching as the whispering grew louder and closer, until it was right next to my ear, and then a voice whispered, "Leave," in a weird, unsettling voice, and the room went completely silent again. By morning, I knew I couldn't stay any longer. Whatever was in that apartment didn't want me there. I packed my things and moved out that very day, breaking my lease. As I drove away, I looked back at the building one last time. In the window of my bedroom, I saw a shadowy figure watching me leave. Even now, just thinking about that place gives me chills.